if it keeps on going on for on for sessions, I think the rest of the group are just going to want to kick me out.
Either that or burn you as a witch, because you're
Yeah.
obviously cursed. Okay, we're connected. We are live. Okay, so just want to confirm that everyone is logged in and seeing everything they should be seeing. And that those who want to hear Sirenscape can hear something from Sirenscape.
Yep.
Pop. Mark, you have remembered to press play on Sirenscape, right?
It is working. I've got it.
Cool. Alright then. Okay, in that case, I am going to quickly take off the sound of a Klingon bridge being populated, and I'm going to take off the incidental music to quickly boost us over to the intro video. We'll be back in a couple of seconds. Stay tuned, folks. See, I told you it was only a couple of seconds. Welcome along to the continuing adventures of the IKS Do Qe'Bach. I am MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next 3 hours or so. And with me are the crew of the Klingon ship Do Qe'Bach. Say Kapla, everybody.
Kapla!
Before we get on to this, as per usual, I would like to invite Mr. Chris Powell to plug his gaming channel.
Hello, yep, same as usual for me, really. I've got that new, I say new, it's been a month already, time is scary. I've got that new sort of feature-length Yakuza 0 video out now, where I go a deep dive review into that game. It'll be a little while before anything else now. I'm sort of like, I'm working on Season 3, doing a couple of videos at once, so I'm hoping... Bit of a wait, but then when they start coming out, they'll be coming out fairly consistently. But in the meantime, yeah, Yakuza 0.
Awesome sauce. Nice. Okay. So then, we are back with the Klingon crew, rather than the Starfleet crew, and we were given a mission to find out what's been making ships go disappear in the area around Zeta Cantos. And so not just the Do Qe'Bach, but also another Klingon ship, whose name I have just forgotten. So let me just quickly... The Olaya. The IKS Olaya, which was a bird of prey, and yourself with your Vorcha class attack cruiser were both set to explore the same basic area of space, but starting from opposite ends, essentially, so that you could cover twice the amount of space to try and find out why it is that ships have been going missing, not just Klingon ships, but others travelling through. And, yeah, you suddenly had an intimation that, or indication that the Olaya was suddenly fired upon, and you since discovered its wreckage, as well as some ion trails that hint at something that harkens back to the ancient enemies of the Klingons, the Herc. The Herc, who were the race that descended upon Qo'Noss in its infancy, as the Klingon people were basically just creating their society, and the Herc enslaved the entire Klingon race. But the Klingons rebelled against them and pretty much kicked their butts off their planet and out of their entire quadrant. And it's been supposed that the majority of Klingon starship technology, at least in its early sense, was stuff that they essentially stole, or requisitioned, let's say, from the Herc. Now, since investigating the area, you followed a couple of ion trails back to its supposed source, and you found this weird planetoid that as soon as this Orion merchant ship that you had persuaded to work for you got close. As soon as that ship got close to this planetoid that you had spied, the planetoid opened fire on the Orion trading ship, which gave your ship, the Do Qe'Bach, enough of a chance to basically cloak and launch a surprise attack, which worked extraordinarily well, if I do recall, especially because your ship is able to fire twice. So you were able to eliminate the defensive capabilities of that planetoid pretty quick, without suffering much, if any, in the way of damage. So we are at the point now where the Do Qe'Bach, your ship, is in orbit around this planetoid. So I'm just going to give us a quick remembrall of what we were and where we were at. So yeah, this planetoid, this artificial or whatever planetoid, didn't stand a single chance against the might of your ship. So that's pretty much where we left it. You had managed to defeat the defensive measures of the planet and were now pretty much free to do whatever you wanted to investigate. The last thing that I did mention to you all, however, was the fact that there appeared to still be a power source on the world's surface. So, with that in mind, I'm going to take us back to the bridge, where we consider what it is we are doing next. So, with everyone at their stations, and a smaller version of the Do Qe'Bach just as a means of easily getting at its statistics, what would y'all like to do?
Do we know if there's any life signs on the planetoid thing?
Well, you could certainly give it a go. Anybody who wants to try and use the ship to have a good old look as to what might be down there?
My other plan was, if we take out the power source, then there's definitely not going to be life signs there for very long.
So what did you want first? The power source, the life signs, the structures? What did you want to do?
Well, if we know there's no life signs, we can go and take the power source. I mean, this is ideas I put to the crew, not saying we definitely do it, but...
Well, yeah, so what is...
If there's no life signs, that's a free power source. If there is life signs, we take out the power source, and we see what's left.
Well, we've got the captain and the first officer in this lot, so, you know... Your tactical officer is giving what he thinks. What do the rest of you think? Sound like a plan, or does anybody else have a different approach they would like to try?
In another life, I would say scan everything.
Scan everything.
That as well. Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, what you said, but bigger. Go bigger. None of this half-mast rubbish. Let's go the whole way. Okay, so let's see. If you were looking for a power source, then a scan of the buildings, I think, would probably get you what you want. And we will use that with Reason and Science, difficulty 1. So, foci that would be useful here, remembering of course that you've got a momentum pool of 5 currently, and it costs momentum to add an assistant past the first one to any task. So you can have one person being the primary, one person being the assistant for any task for free. You don't have to pay any momentum for that, but anyone past that one, that helper, you have to pay a momentum point for. But in the meantime, what kind of foci could we use? Well, anything to do with power sources, anything to do with structural composition, mineralogy, metallurgy, that kind of thing would be useful as well. Pretty much that lot. So, who amongst yourselves think that they've got the best foci to deal with that kind of thing?
Yeah, Tre'gok definitely has the worst reason and science and no
Okay.
focuses. But I will happily assist for giggles if no one else is good enough.
Okay, well,
I'm
Yeah, go.
probably the best person for reason and science, as it's 12 and 5.
Oh yeah, you should definitely lead it.
I don't think I think Tre'gok and Trasa are tied when it comes to reason and science.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that they can't use presence and command to assist. But yes, as far as reason and science goes, that's why they have other people.
I think the captain should be in on this.
Yeah. I have my advisor talent.
You do. That's a good point. That's a very.
I didn't know
good point.
about that. No, it's just
I mean, this seems like such a
So
pouring
whenever you
everything
assist
into
another
it.
character using command, you can re-roll a d20. That's not bad. Okay then. So it sounds like this should be a good one for Dr. O'Keefe to start things off with reason and science. And-
any focuses.
But like I said, anything to do with sensors, metallurgy, mineralogy, or power systems, any of those will help.
Sensor operations. So, yes.
Okay, good. Whereas Captain Qe'Bach, of course, is giving orders, therefore it'll be more a focus on command.
Ooh, that's an interesting
Wow.
role.
Okay, Dave, you appear to be going both sides of the spectrum there. Your first role is simultaneously great and simultaneously bad.
Told you it's going to be one of those things. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
So start as you mean to go on.
Can't we use the captain's reroll on that 20?
Well, let's have a look. Advisor says, whenever you assist another character using your command, the assisted character may re-roll 1d20. So yes, Dave can indeed re-roll that 20.
Reroll results. Yeah.
Yep. So just one
It's just-
dice.
One dice and a focus.
Yes. You watch now. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Not
never.
what I thought it was going to be, but close. Nevertheless, that was still 2 successes you managed there. So thanks to Captain Qe'Bach's assistance, an almost catastrophe is whaled down to a spot on. But not even a spot on. That was an over the difficulty success. So well done. What do we learn? Alright. The sensors are reporting back that there's some kind of spatial torsion field emanating from the one active installation down on this planetoid. A single power source deep below the buildings is producing neutrinos with energies and patterns very similar to Herc fusion reactors. So, but any more information you want to get from that is going to have to be somebody scanning for life forms, which comes back to using reason and medicine. So maybe it's Trasa's turn to assist on this one. Does DOS have anything that he can add to this? No, not really. Although he's got learn from failure, so with Dave's rolls as they are at the moment, might want to consider using him just in case. But yeah, Lieutenant Shilatha, your chief engineer, has only got one in medicine as well, as does Commander Trasa. as does Captain Qe'Bach. So, pretty much everyone who doesn't need medicine only has a rating of 1 in medicine. So I'm guessing the only one who actually has any is, yes, the Doctor. So we can have the Doctor do the roll again, but we can have somebody different assist this time, probably Commander Trasa.
Go for it.
This time with... I suppose a focus of inspiration might work here for Trasa. As
Yes,
for the
find
Doctor...
us-
Ooh, yes, go.
Find us people to hurt.
So am I rolling? What am I rolling?
You're rolling reason and medicine this time, rather than reason and science.
Okay.
And you're, again, only looking for 1 success.
Medical procedure? No.
No, not necessarily medical procedure. Sensor operations will still work in this regard because you are scanning for life forms.
If you want, since we've got a full momentum pool, you can take an extra dice. See
You
if
could
have
take an
even
extra
more-
dice,
Even
or
more
you could
hilarious
involve...
roll.
No, let's go for an extra dice. Let's go.
I want to see what happens.
Well, alright then.
Let's see if I can break my curse.
Or just plain break the game.
Yeah. Alright, so 3 dice. Have we changed the momentum pool yet?
Nope. There we go.
Now.
Elizabeth has removed 1 from the momentum pool, so that's done.
Okay, I'm going to roll 3 dice.
Yep. Trasa rolls 1. Or rather, Liz rolls 1 as Trasa. Alright, that wasn't bad. That was a near miss. That's still 3 successes, and Trasa gets a whopping great big.
Ooh.
Lordy. Alright, so that momentum goes back in the pool pretty quick. 5 successes. Crikey. Okay, so what do we learn? Sensors come back with the presence of a weak Klingon life sign in addition to significant plant and animal life consistent with a typical temperate biome on Qo'Noss. Let me try and rephrase that so my mouth actually works. There's an additional life sign that the Doctor is reading, but it's weak and difficult to pin down.
Captain. This, in my expert Starfleet opinion, there's...
Excuse me.
There we go, it didn't take long.
Starfleet.
In my expert Starfleet opinion, there is a weak Klingon life form.
Starfleet? Do you want to end up in sickbay, not as the Doctor, but as a patient?
No comment from the
We are
floor.
lacking in this ship. Commander Trasa, I hope you will discipline the Doctor well.
Cracks knuckles,
Bye.
moves towards the doctor's
Otherwise-
station.
Oh my.
Get a
Uh,
room!
Sorry.
Liar.
Hold on, before you start beating me to a pulp. There is also a other weak life form on I am picking up. Now you may beat me to a pulp. I would see it as an honourable thing.
It's my honour to take a shellacking from my first officer.
Yes.
I could go so very far and very wrong with this, so I'm going to stop right there before my brain lets me go any further. Mean right hook, okay!
Hey, I just want to see how this would work. Hand in hand is daring, right?
Yes, an unarmed strike is usually daring and security versus either they're daring and security, or if they don't want to put up a fight, then against a difficulty of 1. So let's just say that succeeded, which means you now roll. You now give us your unarmed combat damage, which is 2. But it gains the intense quality, which means that rather than spending 2 points of momentum to up the damage by 1, you only need to spend 1 point of momentum. And you got 2 successes. You only needed 1 because Dr. Oketha rather, I should say, is accepting the punishment, and therefore, if you wanted to, you could spend that extra point of momentum to up the damage to 3.
Do it.
Do it. Okay. And so now the question has to become, does Dr. Oketha want to accept the intensity 3 injury, or would you like to avoid injury by using stress?
I'll take the injury, because I am not losing an arm, so it doesn't matter.
Let's see, intensity 3 injury with an unarmed strike is unlikely going to be anything as lethal as losing an arm. I say lethal. You've got a bionic arm. If you're accepting a 3-point injury, then it's gonna be... Let me think. What's this? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. An injury. Well, you just took a sock to the face, so I'm gonna go broken jaw. So until that's healed, your ability to communicate is now extremely limited.
This is nothing. This is nothing. I can hear will work.
The universal translator is no longer operational. But you think there was something like "this is nothing" in there. The first, I didn't quite catch what the second sentence was, but nevertheless,
It was. This is nothing. I can still do my work.
well, yes, you still have 2 working hands, so you know it's all good. But your ability to do any kind of social related activities is now impaired, shall we say. Oh, dear. Beautiful. Alright then, so with that small bit of intercrew discipline out of the way, what would you like to do now? There is 1 Klingon... I said 1, right? There is a Klingon life sign, a weak Klingon life sign. There are plant and animal life down below, as also an additional weak and difficult to pin down life sign. So, with all of this information, what would you like to do with it?
Commander, Captain, I recommend we save our Klingon compatriot, steal the power source, and kill whatever else is there.
I totally agree.
I could use a little bit of sport.
Nice. Essentially, this sounds like an away team mission is being put together. Okay, so with that large amount of successes that you got when you were doing sensor-related scans, you were able to pick up the fact that there was some kind of spatial torsion field generator down there. Such a field would scramble any transporter beam attempting to try and beam you inside the complex, but the field doesn't cover the entire planetoid, only the area around the structure itself, so it doesn't prevent you from beaming down near to the structure.
But could we do a shuttle boarding action to the structure?
You could try, but you'd still need to find somewhere to land the shuttle.
Into the building.
That seems
Into
like
it. Boarding action, ram into the building. Get as close as we can to the Klingon.
Okay. going back to your initial scans again. Boom. The buildings are made of some kind of crystalline material. You have no idea whether or not that crystalline material is more dense than your shuttle's hull. Bearing in mind, it's a shuttle.
How many shuttles do we have?
Well, you have a small craft readiness rating of 4, so you have 4 shuttles that can be active at any one particular time.
Tre'gok's going to suggest to the commander that we launch one unmanned one to test to see if the boarding action would work, and if it does, we board.
Hooray. If
it
not,
doesn't
you're
work-
down a shuttle.
Yeah.
Well, this all depends on how This also depends on how Lieutenant Shalatha, your chief engineer, feels, because Chris's character is going to be the one who's going to have to repair the damn shuttle afterwards, if there's one to repair.
Shalatha looks thrilled.
So, what do people think of Mark Struck sort of / Tre'gok's plan to basically ram a shuttle into the surface and see what happens?
You're as crazy as the Comas crew. Jeez.
That's not a no.
We are not wasteful Klingons. But don't forget we have an ally in the form of the what are they called?
Oh, you mean the Orion trading ship?
Yes.
I'd almost forgotten about those poor green buggers.
I forgot about the IKS cannon fodder.
That's right. Yes. Oh dear. The poor cannon fodder. Okay. Does this alter your plan any?
It wouldn't be a good representation of if our shuttle will survive. We need to make sure the shuttle will work.
Okay, so a shuttle is a small craft which at the very most has a scale of 1, maybe 2 at the most. The freighter is a scale 3 ship, so is already bigger than a shuttlecraft would be.
Yeah, I don't think it would tell us what we wanted to know, which is would a boarding action into a building work? A crystalline building.
Yeah, so most shuttles are a scale 1 and therefore have that same number of resistance. A scale 3 ship, however, is much bigger and therefore has much bigger resistance, and they would have repaired their shields by now.
Yeah, because that might succeed, and then we wouldn't be able to. Or are you saying not even launch a test, just use their ship to board?
That's what I was.
Oh, then do that. Yeah.
Well, I was going with you were going to use them to test it first to see whether or not a ship breaks apart on impact with the crystalline buildings.
Oh no, because then it doesn't tell us whether or not
Shuttle would.
the shuttle would. Because if they succeed, the shuttle might not.
Yes, but if they
I mean,
fail,
if
the
they
shuttle
make a
would fail.
hole with it.
Yeah, if they fail, the shuttle will fail. But they've been really good for just being a bullet sponge. If anything else turns up.
Yeah, how they've been cooperating with you so far because they've been intimidated by the fact that you got a honking great battle cruiser with many weapons. But you know, there's only one wonders how far you can push even Orion traders to willingly crash their ship into a moon. Because you want to test to see how hard the structures are, so,
I think a test shuttle followed by either beaming nearby or landing nearby if it fails, or boarding action into a building if it succeeds. Keep our cannon fodder for the next fight.
So going back to the bridge, what do we think? These are all ideas.
They are ideas.
My vote's for the test shuttle.
Really, Mark? I never would have guessed.
I know, right?
What do other
I
people
want
think?
boarding action. I'm bored.
What do other people think? Are we okay with this idea of using a shuttle to test the
I think
structure?
so too, yeah.
Okay.
The doctor agrees. He just decides to interpret it as his
Lieutenant Doss is like, I just nod or shake your head, Doctor. That's all we can ask at this point.
She shakes her head.
I don't think
See,
your
he
interpretation was correct, Tactical Officer.
She's saying no. I agree.
Because that's how it works.
Well, it is sure quiet here at this bridge now.
Yeah, chatterbox. Okay. Right, this is going to be interesting. So we're essentially going to remote pilot a shuttle down, which means you are probably going to have to, if you're going to have the thing remote piloted, you're probably going to have to turn off the safety measure, which will have the shuttle pull up if it's on collision course. So somebody's going to have to go into the shuttle and set up not only the autopilot, but also to override the safety systems, and heavens knows what safety systems there might be on a Klingon shuttle, I don't know. But nevertheless, you would hope...
Interestingly, Tre'gok has 4 in engineering, so he could do that.
And Shalatha definitely would be the one to look into doing the modification of the ship's safety systems. I mean, Shatran is your helm and navigation officer, and therefore would possibly be valuable with setting up the autopilot. So it all comes down to... But because Shatran is a supporting character, he can but assist. So somebody else is going to have to actually take the helm, literally, of that particular endeavour. So, who wants to do which task? Who wants to be responsible for the...
Taekwondo's on the helm.
Well, there we go then. So Trasa, with assistance from Shatran, can do the setting up of the autopilot, whereas it's probably going to have to be Shalatha, maybe backed up by Tre'gok, modifying the onboard safety systems in order to make sure that it doesn't pull up when it detects an imminent collision. So let's do the autopilot first. So, Chris, you haven't been doing much rolling at the moment. Could you be Lieutenant Shatran for me?
Sure.
Shatran and Trasa, pardon me. Commander Trasa gets to roll 2 dice, and you both do... Let's go with Control and Con.
Control and Con, and I'm assisting, aren't I? So
Yeah, so just 1 dice.
Would I have focus here, like navigation, or
yeah.
there's a few bits and pieces, I think.
Yeah, any one of them will do. Navigation, helm and operation will do nicely. Similarly with Trasa, 2 dice, but you use helm control as a focus.
Ooh.
Good Lord!
Good start.
Wow, okay, and all the 7s as well. So, yep, you managed to program the autopilot with pinpoint accuracy. So wherever you wanted the shuttle to actually aim for, either the top or the side or a specific part of the installation, you will get. Now you just need to override the safety systems. So, Chris, once again, you're going to be Lieutenant Shalatha, this time leading with 2 dice. So this is going to be... Ooh. Now you're breaking into the system here. I'm going to say daring and engineering.
Daring, engineering. Breaking into the system. Can I say, like, jury rigging? No, probably
Yeah,
not.
essentially jury rigging, because you are going to be pulling out the wires for the safety system and routing them somewhere else. So similarly, if Tre'gok wants to assist, never mind. He can if he wants.
I do want to assist for all the wrong reasons. I want to earn determination. I am of the steel on which all things break.
He's deliberately breaking something to see. Oh man, okay.
Bang! This will work.
Alright, but this makes this task that much more difficult, so I've now upped the difficulty.
Right, daring and engineering. Single dice. Do we know what the difficulty is?
No, I'm keeping that to myself now because of what you've just done.
Should I take a momentum for an extra dice?
Entirely up to you.
Oh no, I want to. I'm just checking with the team before I do it.
Sure.
Okay. 2 dice.
Alrighty.
Can I use a focus in mechanical engineering?
Absolutely.
As I punch this.
Probably literally punching it, as it turns out. Alright, the good news is double ones!
Hello.
Wow, okay.
What is happening today with everybody's rolls?
Alright, nice. Very nice indeed. Wow. Well, that momentum's straight back. Alright, well, you managed to completely override the collision safety systems, which means that this shuttle is now going to streak down from the heavens like a bullet, or more like a torpedo, a giant-sized torpedo, and will... Yeah, the safety systems will be ignored to such an extent that this thing will probably gain a terrific amount of speed in order to try and gain a lot of ramming momentum. Who'd-a-ma-do. Alright, so, unless there's anything particular you want to do before we launch this shuttle, we can get right to it.
Fire.
Fire! Okay.
Launch the torpedo. I mean shuttle.
The torpedo shuttle indeed does get launched. It takes off slowly at first from the shuttle bay and maneuvers itself around, points itself in the right direction, and then basically fires its thrusters at full bore and starts streaking down through... well, there's not really much in the way of atmosphere on this planetoid, therefore the amount of kinetic resistance that gets built up through it passing through atmosphere, because there is none, is non-existent. Therefore, you are not, unfortunately, treated to the spectacle of it becoming this fireball that descends from the heavens. Instead, it's just the burn of its, the bright burn of its thrusters and impulse engine. Just as it is about to impact against the target structure, this field suddenly shimmers into existence, and the shuttle literally slides off and then explodes in a fireball in an area just to the side of where the installation itself is. So, it seems that spatial torsion field can do can repel physical things as well.
How are we going to get past that?
Well, it seemed to activate as soon as it detected a threat incoming at great velocity, so it stands to reason that if you were to just walk up to the thing, you might not trigger said torsion field.
Begrudgingly, Tre'gok says we need to get close and then walk in. Now that we've wasted a shuttle. Well, not wasted, but destroyed.
You say waste. I say it
Utilized.
it was scientifically
Yeah.
used.
Yeah. You gained information from the sacrifice of a shuttle. I mean, in its own way, Chief Engineer Shalatha can be seen as being kind of grateful, because now there aren't enough pieces left of the shuttle to actually have to repair one with. The bad news, you're going to have to request requisition parts for a replacement shuttle. But that's for later. But right now, it seems that yes, either taking another shuttle and landing it nearby, or just plain beaming down, is probably one of the less lethal means of getting to this installation on the surface of this planetoid. Like I noted, there's next to no atmosphere whatsoever, so if you are going, you will need to be wearing environment suits. And so, it comes down to, well, I'm going to assume that the 5 of you are all going down in the away team. It now comes down to what equipment you want to take with you. Like I said, EVA suit is is definitely going to be a must. So that won't cost you any momentum to buy. So it's whatever other pieces of tech you think you need, you can take. Now, as far as I'm aware, that the majority of the tech we have is mostly Starfleet related. But
No.
puppy pictures. Someone's getting bigger. Good lord. Anyways, sorry. Yes, the majority of the technology does seem to be Starfleet, but we can safely assume that the Klingons have the equivalent technology, so don't think that just because it's Starfleet that you can't take it. So, does anybody... Go on. Of course. Why did I even... Why did I think that wouldn't come up? Anti-grav sled.
Plasma torch? In case we need to cut through anything?
Reasonable. Sounds reasonable to me.
I'll grab a plasma torch with my environment suit.
Hopefully he won't be using the plasma torch on his environment suit. How does this work, then?
Doctor, come here, I need to test it.
That's a point. Is the doctor going to actually see to her broken jaw before she goes down on this away team?
I mean, that's a good question. Because
if
like
there
the idea
is...
of you trying, and then the possibility of failing.
Because if there is a Klingon life sign down there, and you are technically the ship's chief medical officer, you might want to be able to communicate with said patient in order to say, you're not that hurt. Plus, if you don't... Go on.
I was going to say, I mean, it would be like a good idea, so I could say that. But perfectly honest, it's also funny that I wouldn't be able to say that. I'm really stuck between a hard place, a rock and a hard place. I really don't know which one.
So on the one hand, being able to actually do your job. On the other hand, gits and shiggles.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to try and sort out my jaw.
Oh, I hope
Now, unless... Because you do have a full momentum pool. Now, unless you want to chance rolling a complication, I'm going to say that this is something you're very, very used to treating, so you don't have to make a roll. This is well within your wheelhouse.
I don't mind making a roll.
Oh, and you could make it more difficult for yourself to earn a determination.
Okay,
I was just suggesting it.
Things
It's
must be
up to Dave.
challenged to prove their worth.
Yes, I'm going to do this blindfolded.
I'm not entirely sure that's what the original crafters of the rule system had in mind, but you are making things difficult for yourself, so I'm going to say sure.
Okay,
But you now definitely have to make a roll for it, and I'm going to up the complication range as a result, because, you know, you can't see. You might set it wrong, and therefore you might get a bony protrusion in the wrong place, making it even harder to communicate. So this is going to be control and medicine with a focus on medical procedures. You are hamstringing yourself, so it's going to be difficulty 3, with an increased complication range as well.
Can I use a momentum, please?
It's entirely up to you.
Same here, Mark. Guys, is this okay for me to do?
Go for it.
Take a moment.
Yeah,
He wants
go
to
on.
take a momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You will
I've got
notice, viewers, that I have. This is none of my doing. They're doing it to themselves. Well, there was a 17, which means you came close to setting it the wrong way, but no, you did not set it the wrong way. You did not succeed, though, because I said it was difficulty 3. I will allow you to succeed at cost if you want to.
What's the cost?
You will be able to communicate, but it's going to be with a lisp from now on because your jaw's not in the right place.
Oh yeah. I'll succeed with cost.
So you move from broken jaw to ill set jaw, which still gives you a challenge on your social abilities, but at least allows you to communicate in a method that is, at the very least, comical.
I did this blindfolded.
You did.
Yeah. Starfleet would be like, oh my god, how great is this doctor?
Yes, that's
No, they
exactly
wouldn't.
what they'd say.
No, they wouldn't. It'd be
Anyone,
horrified.
look, don't destroy my dreams, Mark.
EMH alone would think you're an idiot.
Not the only
Look.
ones. Okay, anyways.
Look, just don't keep on talking to me like that, okay, Sarah?
Wait, is this a permanent physical trait now?
No,
I'm not-
no, it's not going to be a permanent physical trait, but
I do not want to do that.
it's going to be
every
a thing that's going to have to be dealt with later, it seems.
Okay. Okay.
So this definitely earned the extra point of determination because you have really made things difficult for yourself now. Any attempt at intimidation from the Doctor is now going to be next to doomed to failure. But
Ah!
Kepler.
Ah! Ah!
Just stick a cotton wool bud or something, a wad of cotton wool in one side of your mouth, Dave, and it'll. Actually, don't do that. That'll give you terrible dry mouth.
Yeah, I was just... Hold on. I may be able to do something. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Oh, dear me. Right. Did the dog say pleb? Right, is there any more pieces of equipment that you wish to take with you on this away mission, or are you good with what you've got?
I can't find the equipment, so at the moment I haven't even got a
Okay, so if you go to the top right, the items list, the icon that looks like a suitcase, under the folder 2nd edition, which is the blue one.
Yep.
And you should see tools and portable items at the very, very bottom.
Is it an under other equipment?
What are you actually? What are you after exactly?
We needed an EVA suit, didn't we?
EVA suit is actually under character armor. I do beg your pardon. That's near the top under awards.
Okay. EVA suit. Hold on. Let's have a look at medical devices.
The captain requested the The anti-grav sled?
I've already got every single medical device.
Yep.
Excuse
me, itchy nose.
Pattern enhancer.
That's a question. Do you want to take pattern enhancers?
I agree with the anti-grav sled, by the way.
Let's raid the equipment locker.
Let's just take everything.
We
Yep.
pillage our own stock.
Let's take some power enhancers just in case.
Are we taking some pattern enhancer?
Sounds like.
Okay, alright, I'll take that then.
Oh, you notice the first officer's off the carrying a couple.
You can never be too careful.
Is it just the one I put in, or do I
put
two
one pattern enhancer usually represents the trio that you need to set.
Okay. Alright,
You're all set? Okay.
I am all set, yes.
Well, who's got the, I hesitate to note, but who's got the anti-grav sled?
If no one else grabs it, Hopkins would.
I would say I feel like the engineer needs to take the anti-grav sled.
Chris?
Pleasure. With pleasure.
The anti-grav sled can be found under tools and portable items, other equipment.
Hopkins will note, it's like, don't turn that into a miniaturized go-kart, please.
The cornering on it is abysmal.
Oh, I tried click and dragging it.
Alright, I tried doing something.
There
we go. I got him.
Didn't do it the first time, did it the second time. Nice. Okay, good. Are we all kitted out, do we think?
Yep.
I reckon so.
Alrighty. In which case, it's time to go down. So you were alright with just taking the 5 of you? You don't want to take... I mean, it's probably best to leave someone back on the ship, so Lieutenant Lethulol Dos, your ops officer, is probably a very good person to leave in command. And of course you've got Lieutenant Shatran, who's your helm officer, who can stay on board as well, because you don't need him to beam yourselves down there. So you should be all kinds of good. So, in that case, let us transport down. So, let's find the planet's surface. Here we are. So, the surface is pretty barren, as you might imagine. However, there is something similar to almost an atmosphere insofar as that there is like a cloud of debris. Looks like it was from various bits of destroyed starships, kind of forming a ring around the planetoid. They're the closest you get to any kind of sky. Nevertheless, the ground itself is pretty solid, all made of crystal, but there's enough crystalline dust under your boots that can at least give you purchase. There are more than a few outcroppings near to you. This is as close as you could get to the structure itself without meeting the field. Your tricorders indicate that your destination appears to be somewhere over this way. Your tricorders indicate that there's some kind of hatch or entryway not far from your present location.
Let's go, crew.
So as you can
Just
see,
walking ahead now.
things get a little tight. There's a kind of narrow corridor made basically of erupting crystal. Whether this was what the planetoid was originally composed of, or if these some kind of crystalline growths that have grown over time, is not all that evident. But neither does it concern you all that much either. You're not here for a planetary survey, you're here to try and get into a potential enemy installation. So, Captain Qe'Bach is bravely striding forth with a beckon to his crew, the crew who are all kind of like, you go first, Cap. So, you should be able to move your tokens as you wish. So, feel free to go. So, yeah, there's a wall of crystal pretty much here for you to find your way around. This bit here is no barrier to you, it's just more actual crunchy crystal powder kind of piled up in a heap. Liz, come back! You're off the edge of the map! Here be monsters! Okay, so I'm just going to wait for the doctor to catch up. So, as you proceed into this clearing here, you can definitely see that there is what appears to be some kind of hatch with writing by there, but as you proceed, let's draw Trasa back a moment, as you are proceeding in a direction towards it, there is a sudden whine of what sounds like an alarm as a trio of mechanized turrets all of a sudden pop up from mounds of crystalline dust and all seem to draw a bead on yourselves as they activate. So we are going straight into combat. So, the defense turrets pretty much got the drop on you, so one of them gets to start first. I'm going to go with the one closest to the door. He's got a 50-50 chance of shooting either Captain Qe'Bach or Commander Crotan, pardon me, which is not his name, is it? Or is it?
No, it is not.
Why? Why? Let me eliminate these 5 characters and bring you back with the ones that I had actually copied and see if that's better. There we are. These are the names we wanted. And I'll add you back to initiative. There we go. Don't know what happened there. It must have pulled in from a previous version of yourselves that I still have on record. There we are. Technical hitch. Nevertheless, this one was going to fire either Captain Qe'Bach or Commander Tre'gok. 50-50 chance, so I'm going to flip a coin. On a 1, it's the captain. On a 2, it's the tactical officer. It's the captain. Go for the important-looking one. So, because this one's kind of caught you by surprise, you don't have any cover to jump behind. It's going to just basically shoot with a difficulty of 2. I get no successes whatsoever. That's interesting. Why did that happen? An 18 and an 8? Is that right? It is right. Alright, so these turrets have got very squeaking joints as they rotate and try and draw a bead on you. It seems that their sensory data isn't all that brilliant either, or their sensor scanners, I should say, isn't all that brilliant either. So they fire a couple of wide shots towards the captain. Don't actually hit him. Now, who of you wants to go next?
I've got fire at will, so I can spend 1 momentum and shoot twice, if everyone's okay with that.
Alright then, so we will activate our attack officer.
Cool.
These things, yep, aren't taking any kind of cover whatsoever. They don't count as having any, so you are free to make a control and security check with a difficulty of 2 to hit.
Cool. I've got a focus in disruptors, so...
Yep, you can definitely use a focus. Do you want to go for the one that shot you first, or the one that's going to shoot next?
The one that's going to shoot next.
Which should be this one over to the side here. Okie dokie do. That is 3 successes, which means you gain 1 over and above what you need, so that goes into the momentum pool. If you want to click on the weapon that you shot with, so we can see what damage it deals. Right, so you're using the rifle, which has intense, so if you wanted to, you could spend that momentum on upping the damage by an extra 1.
No, I'm going to use the one to shoot again.
Alrighty, so in that case, that hits for 5, and which means it took a 3. So, yep, that one gets... Which one is it? Which one is it? That one. Spoosh! Gets destroyed in a shower of sparks.
Alright, well then I'll shoot this next one.
Right.
Roll again. Focus. 2 dice.
Does it cost you momentum to attack the second time?
It does, yep.
So, there we go.
Oh, jagga! Boom. I am a veteran. Whenever you spend determination...
if you want to spend determination, there is a chance you can get it back, so yes.
No, I'm just gonna have to eat that complication.
Okay, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
I don't have anything... No. God damn it.
Alright then. Okay, so that second shot, because Tre'gok has to wheel right around to try and draw a bead on the other one, his shot goes wide, which means that it is another defense turret's turn to shoot, so I may as well do this one. This one's going to go for the closest target, which is Trasa. And it is going to make a similar attack. Only needs difficulty 2 to hit. I get a 20 as well, so, It is just a very clumsy wide shot. It can't quite draw a bead. No problem. Whom of you wants to go next?
I want revenge for...
Well, okay.
I must show it how it's really done.
Fine, fine, and good.
Da-da-da! Batlift! Just gonna beat it.
EDS. So this is a daring and security with a difficulty of 1. The thing isn't exactly... hasn't got arms and legs to fight back with, so it's just going to be difficulty 1 to hit. Which you manage, and then some. So once again, you have got 1... the Batleth is deadly and has an opportunity cost of 1 and is one-handed, so that 1 goes into the momentum pool that you extra got. If you wanted to do more damage, you can spend 2 momentum to up the damage by an extra 1. Or are you happy with the 3 that you got?
Yeah, we're good with the 3.
Cool. So with a terrific downward chop, you bury your Batleth's points straight into the machine, and it just... well, it doesn't exactly explode, it just... a shower of sparks comes out of the wound that you dealt it, and the whole thing just powers down with a very disappointed sound. So, with no more defense turrets able to go, the rest of you are able to take your actions. So the captain, the engineer, the doctor can go next. I suggest the captain hasn't got revenge for being shot at yet, so... Why not have the Cap go next?
Can I equip my duck tag?
Yep. Going in
and
with
go
the dagger.
to the turret? Yes.
None of this with a big old bat'leth. You want to knife the thing. Alright then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also.
I just like how both the captain and Commander Trasa are completely kitted out with weapons.
Oh yeah. Well, you know. Not only do you have to be two of the strongest warriors on a Klingon ship, you also have to be fully armed and capable at all times in case somebody else on your crew fancies having a go at being captain instead of you. So it makes a degree of sense. Nevertheless, Captain Qe'Bach can make a daring and security attack with a difficulty of 1.
Okay. The hand-to-hand combat, does that count?
Yep, that counts.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's not. It's hand to turret combat, but hey, I'll take it. Right. So, yep, you gain 1 success over and above what was necessary. So, if you can click on your duck tag, please, so we can see what damage it deals. 2 damage. So, yeah. If you want to up the damage from 2 to 3, you can spend 2 momentum, or you can just leave it at 2.
I think if everyone is okay, I will take the 2 momentum because we accumulated quite quickly, actually.
And you got 1 momentum over anyway, so it's
really kind of spending 1 momentum.
So I'd say that's a
okay. Bargain. The
So,
captain loves a bargain.
so Captain Qe'Bach just kind of jams his duck tag in the join where the turret meets its housing, and uses his knife to lever it upwards and just wrenches the whole thing off. And it just gets essentially decapitated in a shower of sparks and fizzing electrical bits. And so that was that.
All I've got in my head now is that saying. You buy one, you get one free. I said you buy one, you get one free. Sorry.
No, you did it very well, actually, there, Dave. So,
I was going to try and do it in a Klingon voice, but...
one, you get one free!
I said you buy one, you get one free. I said you buy one, you get one free.
It does work, actually. Well, we've just learned something new today, kids. You can reliably get Klingons to do advertisements on British television. Anyway.
Intimidating.
So yes, those turrets, it seems, were more than useless. So, what
no, they
is it?
provided great entertainment for the Klingons.
Well, yeah.
While the Doctor did nothing.
And the chief engineer just looks at him like, shoddy work, shoddy. But it definitely seems like, no one's come out here to take any kind of care of those turrets whatsoever, so they've just been left to the elements, and it showed. Their targeting computers were rubbish, their ability to maneuver was poor, and they broke apart fairly easily, so...
Ferengi could do better. Sorry. Is that how is that?
That was it. That was pretty much what I was picturing. Okay, so the surface of the building in front of you is translucent like quartz, and has writing across it that makes even the bravest warrior shudder from seeing it. It's the language of the hated her. Each Klingon warrior grew up hearing the tales of the invaders, saw recreations of them in entertainment recordings, and even saw their shells on display in museums. But seeing a building made by them and still with life inside brings mixed emotions: hate, revulsion, curiosity, and even hope. Hope that you may be the first to see the ancient enemy in generations before you destroy them. Also, newsflash, kids, doing Klingon voices actually hurts.
Yeah, no.
So, you are now outside the exterior airlock. There is a lot of writing across it that is almost a derivation of what you would consider ancient Klingon, because as much as the Klingons don't like to admit it, certain amounts of their written language also came from their oppressors. Mostly because you had to learn their language in order to learn how their systems and their technology worked, so for better or for worse. So, I don't think... actually, Trasa's got linguistics. Trasa could potentially make a crack at trying to decipher what the writing on the door actually means.
Yeah, sure. Let's try it.
So this isn't going to be your favorite. This is going to be reason and science, but it will allow you to use your focus of linguistics. I'll make it difficulty... I'll make it difficulty 2 because it is an ancient dead language, at least as far as you guys are concerned. You do have 5 momentum in the pool.
Yeah, I was going to say...
So the complication range will be 2 or just 1?
The complication range remains 1, as normal, but the difficulty is 2.
Should I?
Well, you can get help from anybody you want if you want to get somebody with a good brain. I mean, I'd say like the doctor, but her actions so far have proved otherwise.
I don't mind helping her.
I want the doctor to help. It'd be great.
What could possibly... You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
You know what? Yeah, let's get the doctor's help.
I've got the route for this.
I bet you do. Right, so you've got no foci to do with linguistics or anything like that, so it's going to be basically down to reason and science in its raw form for the doc, who is going to be rolling 1 dice. Trasa's going to be rolling 2. 1 success. Okay, good. And takes the pressure off of Trasa some. If Trasa wants to buy momentum, wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, then again, double 6s.
Commander Trasa, in my expert Andorian opinion, doesn't that need to change there to there to there and there for it to make sense?
There was something about making sense in that sentence. You're not entirely sure which part it was.
I'm so glad you didn't hear what I actually said at the start.
Tre'gok's ignoring what you said at the start.
Oh, I know you.
Okay, so what do you see? From what you are able to understand of the markings... excuse me. You can piece together bits of the markings on the door. Or the airlock, I should say. There are warnings that are mostly mundane warnings about maybe checking EVA equipment. A couple of broken pieces of text that seem to be directions to different parts of the facilities. But they're mostly illegible. Only 2 pieces of text actually stand out. One is on a silver plaque next to the airlock door that reads Zoo and Biological Research. The second is a piece of graffiti scratched into the building itself which says, "Brace yourself, the animals stink." So, with all of that, what would you like to do?
Before entering, Tre'gok wants to deface the Herc sign with the sigil of our house, using his plasma torch.
Aha! Okay.
Tre'gok was a Y3055. I don't. What year is?
What year is it? Well, according to the Klingons, I'm not sure, but according to the Federation, it's 2373.
There you go. That's Trasa's response to the doctor.
I thought you were a Targ.
I'm glad you picked up on the Andorian thing.
What was I going to say? No, gone. Never mind. Can't be that important. Alright then, so... with you having defaced some of the writing, are you going to move in through the airlock, or do you have any preparations you want to make before you go in through the airlock?
Geronimo!
Qe'Bach's just striding forward. Get out of my way!
Yeah.
Tre'gok's done all the preparation he needs. He's defaced the enemy's writing, ready to go.
Who are we missing? There we go. Spoop-de-boop-doop-doop. Alright, so I'm not going to be changing the map. This is going to be more theatre of the mind, so you'll have to excuse me if I keep us on this map, but allow me to describe what happens when you go in through the airlock. So, the airlock itself has no dust inside it except that which your EVA boots have brought in, as though it is continually cleaned or it hasn't been used in centuries. Once activated, the outer doors slide shut and air rushes into the chamber. The warning lights of low atmospheric pressure change from the bright glow to the bright glow of normal pressure. Your scanning devices show the atmosphere to be close to Qo'Noss standard, with temperatures in the comfortable range for Klingons. You each huff out a breath as artificial gravity kicks on, making you slump under the weight of your EVA suits. No pathogens are detected, and the inner doors slide open to reveal what looks to be a path cut through a dense forest on Qo'Noss, but is in fact a corridor overgrown with plant life. When you remove your helmets, the smell of life fills your nostrils and the sounds of animal noises fills your ears. The Herc must have stocked this zoo with things they brought from Qo'Noss hundreds of years ago. But why is it still here? And what does it have to do with the disappearance of ships? So, anything particular you would like to do? Well then, in that case, the interior of the building appears to be a warren of corridors and rooms as you proceed carefully through it. The walls are coated in vines, in mould and moss or other ground-covering plants. Only now and then does the translucent quartz-like material of the walls remain unmarred. These places are the brightest, as the walls themselves seem to glow with a warm inner light. Otherwise, the lighting everywhere is filtered through the dark green and purples of the plant life of Qo'Noss. Animals also walk the halls and rooms. Those that you come across are mostly small tree-dwelling creatures that do not seem to be afraid of you. possibly because they're not used to bipeds. There are small creatures that resemble scaly chipmunks, tiny bat-like creatures with targ-like heads, and other harmless, or at least you hope, harmless animal life that scurries around you as you move.
I wonder if they have any targs in this little zoo.
Well, in that case, can I get you, or anybody who wants to give me... insight and... I'm going to go insight and medicine since we're doing a life form. So anybody who wants to smell, see, hear whether or not there are any targ around can do so.
Would that be the Doctor and Trasa doing that?
Entirely up to whoever wants to do it. Obviously those with a higher medicine will be better at it, but also those with a good insight will also be reasonable at it too.
Yeah. Trasa's definitely trying to find herself a targ.
One more to the menagerie. So, if no one is helping, or if you want anybody to help, feel free to give me an insight and medicine check to see if you can pick up the sound, sight, or scent of a targ.
Okay.
Wow, what is it with you and double numbers today?
I'll help.
7s, 6s, 8s. Wow. Nice. And the Doctor is helping some.
I mean, Trasa already has Zippy.
Yes? Yes, you do, and
Zippy
Zippy might be
needs
getting
a
a brother or
friend.
sister sometime soon at this rate, so we'll see how we go. Right then. As you are roaming through this eerily familiar forest, as in it smacks very highly of the jungles on Qo'Noss, one specific animal you managed to catch the scent of, and it definitely smells like targ. So, if you want to follow that scent, you find in a small clearing a small clearing where the scent gets stronger. You find evidence of great scratches born out of some of the trunks of the lower trees, which suggests something with tusks is scratching up against the tree trunks, either marking its territory or to help sharpen its tusks, or a little bit of both. Known behavior of targs. And so you reckon you're on the right track. And just as you get the scent is getting stronger in your nostrils, there's this rustling from the undergrowth up ahead of you. The rustling continues as something is definitely coming through the undergrowth towards you. What would you like to do?
Here, targ. Just know if you attack me, you'll end up just like Zippy. I will knock you out and claim you as mine.
Okay.
And if it doesn't attack, you'll also claim him. There's only one outcome.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay then, so Trasa kind of steps forward in front of everybody else to try and be the first to meet whatever it is that's about to leap out of the undergrowth. So Trasa kind of braces herself, ready to either wrestle with the targ in order to assert her dominance over it. Everyone else is just standing there going, huh.
Tre'gok's gonna nudge the Doctor and get him to try and get her to try and scan for the Klingon life form.
Okay, we'll do that in a bit. Meanwhile, the rustling of the undergrowth is coming closer and closer, and soon the undergrowth right in front of you shimmers as something parts the fat wide leaves, and... That's strange. There's nothing here. But then Trasa looks down. There's certainly a targ in front of you. It's just way smaller than you remember targs being. This is a lot smaller a targ. You could almost think it was a baby. Except from the size of its tusks, it's a fully grown, matured adult. It's got bright green spots that dot the row of bone spurs that jut from its back, beginning from its neck and slowly getting smaller to the tip of its long tail. You've never seen a targ like this, ever. In fact, this is a teeny tiny targ. I don't think anyone here has got any kind of zoological history of any kind. I think the closest we've got is Dr. O'Keefe with biology. Unless somebody unless somebody's got a focus on something to do with history. I don't see anybody with a focus on history. No, okay, so it looks like the only one who's got any possibility of identifying this is going to be the Doctor.
Yay!
So, reason and medicine from the Doctor, please, with focus on biology. You essentially, you know, the Doctor was about to scan for that Klingon life form, but then when the jungle foliage parted and this teeny tiny targ came skimpering out, you all kind of just stop whatever it is you're doing, and you're all just staring at it in like incredulity.
I think there's something wrong with this targ. It's too
small,
tiny.
Yeah. SMOL, small. 3 successes. Well done. Nice. Okay, so Dr. O'Keefe remembers something she studied a long time ago, in that there was this is a kind of this is known as the green spotted pygmy targ, and was only ever found on one specific island on Qo'Noss, but it was thought to have gone extinct during the ecological collapse that happened to the planet after the Herc withdrew. So what you've got here is, well, an example of an extinct species.
This is the extinct species.
Now, what you can remember with 3 successes is that before the time of the Herc, warriors from the island that this pygmy targ came from would use them as prized hunters and retrievers. They were essentially really good in that role.
Commander, they these are very good hunters and retrievers.
She's just gonna hand the Doctor a pad of paper. Just write down what you're saying.
No, I will not. I will not use pen and paper. It is against my Klingon honor.
Nevertheless,
So
you've now got this... sorry, go on.
She's gonna use the universal translator to see if she can't pick up half the things she's saying.
As it turns out, you're getting pretty much a phonetic reading of what the Doctor was trying to say. It would be beyond my Klingon honor. Nevertheless, this pygmy targ is now sniffing around all of you, getting a good old whiff of where you've been.
Capture it.
Capture it. Just Hopkins is gonna be like, well, it's about the same size as Zippy, so.
Pretty much.
And she's gonna try to pick up the tog.
Okay, so you no longer have any foci to do with animal handling, so it's gonna be down to you're just gonna try and catch this thing. Okay. This sounds like control and we'll go with control and security, just reflexes versus reflexes. I'm gonna make this difficulty 2 because it's a wriggling, squirming little thingy.
Can I use hand-to-hand?
Yeah, go on. It makes a certain amount of sense. You are trying to essentially grapple this thing.
And because I have done this before, I am going to try to hamstring myself by using Creature of Habit. To make it harder, because she wants to capture as many as she can. She's also trying to look for more. Trying to find another one of the same species.
Let me think.
We will bring this back from. We'll bring this back from extinction.
All right, you're basically utilizing your desire to, collect a menagerie of creatures. Trasa can't help herself. So I'm gonna, as a result, up the difficulty to catch this little wriggling creature to 3, because you're making it more difficult for yourself, because she's just launching herself at it with aplomb enthusiasm. Can't help herself, it's just diving for it, going, mine! Which, of course, any small creature worth its salt that sees something bigger than it making a jump for it is going to immediately make a break for it. So, by all means, give me a control and security check, but this is now difficulty 3, so...
Can I buy an additional dice?
Absolutely, you can buy additional dice with a momentum if you really want to.
I must have.
There we are. You've managed to just about grab it. So as Trasa goes to makes a leap for it, the thing breaks for the tree line, and she just manages to reach out her hands and snag its back legs by the tips of her fingers and just drag the thing back to her. So the little creature is there, thrashing its face about, trying to tusk you, to gore you, basically. But it's so teeny that you are able to essentially capture the thing, and it's going to be a bit of a struggle to keep the thing, but Klingons by this point are pretty practiced. Targ... what do you call them? Not targ handlers, when you domesticate, there we are. When you domesticate an animal. So I will take it as read that you are doing, let's say, just basically lying it flat on the floor as it tries to fight you, and then just kind of putting your hand, actually putting your hand on its rib cage and on its head, just so it's an assertion of dominance by yourself, and the thing eventually stops squirming and seems to accept you. Everyone else, meanwhile, has just been watching on as Trasa just kind of leapt into the dirt and scrabbled to find this teeny tiny little targ. And now she's holding it up under one arm with a very enthusiastic look of "I" on her face.
She's like, "Meet Tiny, the newest member of the crew."
Tiny just kind of gives everyone a glare as if to say, "Who are you?" But, targs are kind of dumb as well, so a scratch on the head will make him or her happy enough. Congratulations, you have a new targ. The pygmy green spotted targ. But yes, at the very, very least, this is an extinct animal, so zoologists on Qo'Nosh will be probably over the moon to see a living specimen. Nevertheless, there was going to be an attempt at scanning for Klingon life signs, and you don't actually need to make a roll for the scan if you don't want to. Thank you, Mark.
Rather, the tiny Targ tamer. I would not like to say that when I was drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
There you go. I was able to do that far too convincingly, so I'm going to take a good long look at myself later. But there we go. So, you pick up with your tricorder the direction of where the Klingon life sign is coming from. But just as Dr. Aketha indicates the direction to the rest of her, to the rest of the crew, which direction it is, you hear this. You hear the sounds of machinery echoing through the complex, kind of a load of pistons and gears all clanking and hissing somewhere nearby. Seems to be coming from the same kind of direction as the Klingon life sign. So, nevertheless, you've got a vague direction in which to go. And Tiny, the Targ, is just kind of sniffing the air as you go along. His ears start to droop a little bit, as if he's getting ready for a fight the closer you get towards the direction of the life sign. As you start proceeding closer and closer to where the life sign is coming from, you pass through a large domed area, and the same label that you saw outside of the on the facility's airlock greets you. The sign that says Vermin Research and Containment. Now, the vastness of this space has allowed trees and larger plants from Qo'Noss to take hold, and therefore most of the technology and equipment that may have been laid out here in ages past has been completely overcome by the plant life growing their roots into the place. So a great deal of the technology that was once here is ruined. But you can, if you want to, anybody can give me either a reason or insight and science at difficulty 1 to have a sort through this debris if you think it is interesting enough.
If no one else does, I will.
I don't think this is interesting enough. I'm not doing it.
So either reason and science or insight and science, difficulty 1, whatever you want to use.
But both of 8 and 1,
So, you know.
I think this is the greatest thing for you to do and find out.
Yep.
So the doc's now looking at Commander Tre'gok with expectant eyes.
Yep.
There's absolutely no focuses, as is not to be
No, not
expected.
really. Yeah, there's rarely a focus for digging through trash.
Oh, I got it!
You got it as well. Well done. To the incredulity of everyone, including Tre'gok himself.
Damn it.
As you start wading through some of the bits of tech to see if there's anything salvageable or interesting, Tre'gok actually pulls apart some vines and finds what looks like a display case. It's the vines cover the majority of it, but you manage to pull it back and see, well, something that causes Tre'gok to basically summon... I say basically, I keep using that word, I am sorry. It makes Tre'gok summon the rest of the crew to have a look at what he's found. And as Tre'gok pulls back the vines to show everybody a bit more, what you see is a mounted skeleton of a Klingon male, along with typical tools and weapons, that would have been used by such a Klingon during the time of the Herc occupation. Trasa, who has now got a good feel for the written language, notices a plaque label at the bottom of the display case, and this display case label reads "Lower life forms from Qo'Nosh."
Yeah, she doesn't necessarily say that in word for word. She just says, "Oh, they acknowledged our presence."
Once you find one, you realize that there are other displays inside of this dome with more mounted skeletons and tools, some of which aren't actually Klingon. Some of them are species that you are entirely unfamiliar with and have never even seen before, let alone able to name what they might be. So it seems like this place, whatever it was, might have been some kind of museum, maybe? Or maybe, at worst, some kind of hunter's trophy room. It's not entirely clear, but at the very least, someone has gone to or had in the past gone to the trouble of mounting these different skeletons in these display cases. Not just Klingons, but other species too, so it seems that the Herc during their time were active oppressors of other life forms too, not just Klingons. So, is there anything you guys would like to do now that you are here in this little house of horrors?
I
Any of
think we
the...
should look for the weak Klingon signal.
Mark, what were you going to say?
Oh yeah, before we hunt down the Klingon signal, are there any of the tools or equipment usable, seeing as they're so old?
You mean the tools from the
Klingon, yeah.
the Klingon? No, they're just basic, like chisels and swords and farm tools, that kind of thing.
Ah, okay.
So we're talking, you know, primitive Klingon tools from the distant past.
No, let's go save a Klingon.
Okay. As you start proceeding further towards the life sign, you hear a shriek, a scream, as though it came from a Klingon throat. This sound leads you, as well as the life form readings, lead you out of this dome with all the display cases and into a room that is darker than the rest of the complex. And this would be where... Take these away. Put the ones that we got in place instead. So let me give this a little shuffle. Do. And take you to... Alright, so let me describe what you can see. The large chamber you rush into is smaller than the domed area that you've just left, but unlike everywhere else, you see very little vegetation along the ceiling and the walls, giving this room an almost clinical appearance compared to the rest of the complex. Close to one side, under a huge opening in the ceiling, stands a metal table with a Klingon woman strapped to it. This is Commander Tre'gok, the commander of the bird of prey that was lost an hour or so ago. Above her hangs a complex structure of metal spikes, piping, flickering lights, and moving sensor probes. Oop. Badoop. Game paused? Yes. Yeah.
No, it's
the game paused
wheel.
image is not even loading. Oh, good. Right, so Chris has just given us a be right back. Okay, cool. So as you are standing there, a long spike drives itself slowly into Tre'gok's left arm, skewering her and causing another scream of pain. But even as she's tortured, her eyes blaze with an almost palpable desire for revenge. The entire structure above her seems to move, and suddenly 3 separate sensor pods sweep towards you. Shockingly, words buzz from hidden speakers in the Herc language.
Yes, I was correct. Vermin are attracted to the death rattle of their own kind. Perhaps to feast on their remains? Do not come closer. This little one will die sooner if you do. I have questions it has not wished to answer, and as I know you are capable of mimicking real speech, I will ask them to you.
This voice comes from this long series of mechanical appendages and sensor probes that reach up into the ceiling above you. So,
Tell me, Vermin, what has become of the Empire?
Which empire? Your empire? Oh, it was replaced by us.
Lies, lies, that cannot be. Vermin have no power over us. Tell the truth, or I will hurt this one some more.
He used to.
What my very lispy friend is saying? It is the truth, nothing but the truth. So, help me by the ancestors.
almost to itself, these wiggling sensor probes that possibly serve as the equivalent of eyes of this thing I'm sorry, I keep using these non-specific words, start darting about almost as if it's in rapid thought, and it talks almost to itself when it says the next part.
They must be lying, but they all have weapons, technology. They read as Empire-made. Thieves! They must be thieves. Where? What did you steal, little ones? Tell me, or I will hurt this one some more. Unless, of course, you are all here to feed. In which case, I will let you feed if it will give me additional data.
The thing then kind of part withdraws, and all the various pincers and drills and spikes kind of curl back, almost like it was drawing its hands in close to its chin to give you some kind of the closest approximation of someone bringing their hands together and steepling the fingers, as if they were intent on watching something interesting. Din Qe'Bach strides forwards.
Say, we go in. We get the lowdown, or we converse. Tell us what's going on.
Tre'gok has
And
idea. It involves his disruptor.
So what's the captain doing, sorry, Connie?
Pretending to feed to just figure out what's up with the other commander and just distract them while we scheme to defeat this thing.
Okay, so you're engaging this machine in something just to try and get the lowdown on what's going on, whilst also trying to get a good look at your fellow commander and see what might be up with her. Am I reading that correctly?
But mostly like pretending to eat her as
Oh, pretending to
but
actually
just
look
saying
over like
what's
you're going to try
going
to
on.
eat her. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then can I... Let's see how convincing you are. Can I get... Good one for a lie. Control and command, please.
Control and command. Okay. I'm gonna use a focus of improvisation.
Ooh, okay then. In that case...
Qe'Bach Lex Theater. In that case, I'm scared now.
Oh, I got a complication, so that actually fits. Yeah. So,
Boom.
boom, indeed. So you got an extra one over and above what you needed there. So Tre'gok. It's just it's anything silly. I automatically assume it's him, but this isn't silly. Captain Qe'Bach.
Wow.
So Captain Qe'Bach kind of interposes his body so that it hunches well over Captain Commander, pardon me, in order to pretend that he's like prodding her, trying to look for the best bits, the meaty bits. But what you're able to do in that is to pretty much cover your fellow captain, so that the machine, whatever it is, will have a harder time trying to get at her, or at least seeing what you're doing. From what you can tell from this distance, now that you're right up against her, or towering over her more like, is that she's definitely been poked and prodded with what look like precision implements. So it's the wounds that she just got from being spiked through the arm, for instance, are pretty recent, but it looks like those aren't the only injuries she's sporting. It looks like this thing, whatever it is, was doing a lot of poking, prodding, cutting. It even looks like there's evidence of burns from electric shock in some places. She's also clamped down to the metal table on around her forearms and her shins, and she's kind of through her teeth glaring at Captain Qe'Bach and Qe'Bach, pardon me, and going, "Get me off of this table!"
I would go over with the doctor, but I can only move the whole entire party at the moment.
If you want to deselect everybody,
I did try to deselect everybody, but it's not working.
No, you just did it then. You just moved Dr. Iketha by yourself.
That wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't, was it? Okay.
Tre'gok wants to get off a sneaky shot. Now that they're there.
Here, or here.
So, Dave, where would you like to end?
Let's go here.
Okay.
Okay.
Klingon at each end.
I've got two doctors at the moment.
Yes, that's because you tried moving your token while someone else moved it, so that ghosting does happen, I'm afraid, when that happens. It should eventually right itself, but you'll have to.
I'm gonna try and refresh and see if it.
That might do it, actually. I was going to recommend you do that. As Qe'Bach and Iketha then are trying to sell this this lie that they're grouping up to basically eat the downed commander, the robot itself is there going,
Yes, interesting. There appears to be a hierarchy here. The big male appears to be the one going for the choicest pieces, yes, indeed. Behaving as so during our conquest of their planet. Perhaps the ruination of their atmosphere after we inevitably plundered their planet's resources must have made them resort to cannibalism. Intriguing, yes. Wait.
Yeah.
Ruination? That has to have happened already then. If that's already happened, then that means the Empire has moved on. Yes, if they came here, that means they might have a ship. And if they have a ship... Vermin, where did the Empire move off to once they were done with your planet? Tell me now.
What did happen to them when we defeated them?
As far as the stories go with the Herc, they were essentially chased right back to one of the further points of the Beta Quadrant, where they escaped back to their home through a wormhole. So it was supposed that the Herc were actually a species from another quadrant in the galaxy, and had used this wormhole to travel the distance and started invading parts of the Beta Quadrant, essentially. But it was the Klingons eventually who, of course, rose up against them, beat them back, stole their equipment, their weapons, their starships, and chased them right back to the wormhole that they came from.
So Hopkins is going to be like, oh, they went back to whence they came, with their tails tucked squarely between their legs.
Lies. Vermin couldn't have defeated the Empire. Our technology is too great, our intellect too vast. You try to trick me. Trick me again, I will start pulling you apart. Or maybe I'll do that anyway, just to see what parts of your brain the lies come from. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
It is no lie. You may have superior technology, but that is ours. For intellect, a Tog is more intellectual than you.
As for barbs, it tries to insult, and yet it tries to insult its superiors, its betters. It thinks such insults will work when it is a tiny thing. A Tog is a tinier thing. It tries to make us feel small, but we are great, we are vast, we are bigger than you can ever imagine. Oh yes, and my little ones, I have stored you for exactly as long as it takes for me to bring my pod back to apprehend your ship. Yes.
Because it's at this point that we go back to your ship. As your operations officer and helm officer are stationed still aboard the Do Qe'Bach, wondering what's going on, they get the sudden sensor blip that there is a ship decloaking. And sure enough, a strange vessel comes into the system as it starts to decloak and starts hurling energy weapon fire in the direction of the Do Qe'Bach, and therefore your two officers are pretty much on their own to take on this ship. So you have no command, you do have ops. So who have we got? Commander Voth, that's not his name anymore, is it? Lieutenant Doss, actually, I think you'll find.
Yeah, because it's Cortran again on tactical.
Yes, so the names here are all wrong, and wrong again, so I'm going to erase these guys to essentially give you... So Shatran and Lithurol Doss are the only two available, but, you know, you never know, that might be all you need for a functioning Klingon ship, is to one to fly the thing, one to shoot with the thing. So we are going to be jumping into a multifaceted, I suppose you could say, combat encounter here, as the ships in orbit are going to have a duke it out. In fact, shall I add the cannon fodder as well?
Oh, yes.
Let's add the cannon fodder as well, because, you know, why not? But, likewise, this machine, whatever it is well, it gives you the impression of being more than a little crazy. At the moment, of course, Commander Tre'gok is restrained on the table, so we shall kick things off with the battle in space. So, because the Herc ship got the drop on you, the Herc ship gets to start things off. So, allow me to actually press begin combat. So the Herc ship is making an attack run and is therefore, I'm going to spend 2 threat in order to keep the initiative, so that after it makes an attack run it is also going to open fire. So, what I do for that is, of course, security. Now, this is a bit of a weird one in that it's an automated ship, therefore it's going to act as if it was a character. So first I roll this, and then I am going to roll 1 dice for this and see how we do. So that's only 1 success on the attack, so that means its shots were a big old miss. So it comes in and lets loose with what appear to be disruptor weapons, but actually fail to make a meaningful impact on the Do Qe'Bach, which means that we can now move to one of your guys. So usually, as we have experience now with ship combat, is that we usually want to set ourselves up with advantages and stuff first. So I suppose my question to you is going to be, do you want your Helm Officer, Lieutenant Shatran, to be doing evasive action, or attack pattern, or just plain moving?
Attack!
Attack!
Okay, which means that Lieutenant Shatran will be aiding the tactical officer in their attack. So, what I would like, therefore, is if Chris could be Lieutenant Lethulol Dos, please. And will be acting as tactical officer, so I will be wanting a control and security check from yourself.
What range are they in at the moment?
They are in pretty much medium range, not close. Ooh, 2 successes, well done. Hey, suitable substrate. Live long and prosper, nice to see you again. Joined at just the right time, a space battle. This space battle also gets aided by Lieutenant Shatran, so Connie, do you want to be Shatran?
Yeah.
Going to want control and con, 1 dice, and you get a focus to aid the attack run. Another success, so that's 3 overall, and we're going to want 1 more to be the ship. So, I suppose Mark. No, yeah, Mark, since you're the tactical officer most of the time. Let's let you be the ship. So the ship's going to be aiding with weapons and security, 1 dice, so...
Bonk.
Oh my!
Whoa!
Alright then, so that is quite a lot of successes. 2, 3, 4, 5. Blimeys. Okay, so this one made an attack run, which wasn't successful, therefore it's going to be subject to the 2 attack. You earned 3 momentum above and beyond what you needed, so if you could give me the Disruptor Banks, because that would have been what you would have been able to use, It has the intense quality trait to it, so that means that the 3 extra momentum you generated from that attack, you can put into upping the damage by 3.
Absolutely.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Which means that the damage is actually 11, minus its resistance is back down to 8. 8 energy damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Means that the ship is shaken. The enemy ship has lost more than half of its shield points, which means that the ship is now
Do we want
shaken.
to spend 2 momentum to seize the initiative and shoot again?
You don't have the only person, I say person, the only group that you've got available to you to keep the initiative with is the cannon fodder.
Never mind.
Go on.
Never mind.
No, let's let the cannon fire.
Yeah, there's a problem
I
with that.
know, like, let them have some fun.
The cannon fodder has no weapons whatsoever.
So yeah, they can just move in as
They are the
laser
weapon.
shield. Yeah, ram into it.
Let's see, it's going to move 2 zones. I'm going to have to actually look up ramming speed here, I think, because can you cross 2 zones? You probably can, but I need to make absolutely sure.
Ramming
speed!
Sorry.
No, totally. I went the same way. So that's weaponry. That's right. Here we are. Starship conflict. So zones, going to zones, distances. When you do ramming speed, right? We don't have difficult terrain. That's fine. Actions and major actions, positions and combat actions. Right, here we go. Happy to be back after a couple of months away due to work, changing sleep schedule. I missed listening to the Most Fun Star Trek Adventures live stream on Twitch. Thank you very much, Suitable Substrate. Your words are most welcome. Glad to have you back with us. Yes, work schedules is a problem with the other Star Trek group as well, so it's great to have everybody finally back with us again. Let's see, what were we doing? Ramming speed! There was something about ramming speed. Where is it? Collision damage. Here we go. Right, there are times when a ship may collide with another. This may happen by accident, or deliberately by ramming. When one ship collides with another, each ship takes the other ship's collision damage. Alright, so a ship's collision damage rating is equal to the ship's scale, which in this case, the cannon fodder is a scale 3. It looks like both of these are the same size. That's interesting. So that's 3. Plus half the number of zones moved before the collision, so you can move more than one. Alright then, so it moved 2 zones, so we add an extra 1 to that. So that's half the number of zones. This has the devastating and piercing quality. In addition, if the ship is ramming, then the ramming vessel gains the intense quality as well. Okay. Which means we're going to have to see how well they pilot this. Who hasn't rolled yet? In a while. Mark's rolled, Connie's rolled, Chris has rolled. Connie, Chris. Speed, I am speed. Mark and Liz. Tell you what, Liz, can I get you to roll me 2 20-sided dice to represent the crew of the cannon fodder, and we'll see how well they do with piloting their ship. Ooh, very well. So a 16 and a 5, which means they get 1 success. The other ship isn't doing, so I'll count that as a win. Yeah, so they don't get any extra momentum generated above and beyond what they needed, so their ship does 4 ramming damage. So let's see. The damage is 4. It has time zones, of course. Suitable substrate is in Seattle. Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thanks for that, sub. Much appreciated you joining us so early. Right, so we're doing ramming speed. So this is this is 4 now because it has piercing. It ignores the other ship's resistance, which means it gets right through that, which means it can do 4 damage. But it also has intense, which means if you spend momentum, for every momentum point you spend, you can up the damage by 1.
Yes.
So how many do you want to spend?
Yes.
Add 1?
Yes.
I will go with Chris' answer there. Yes.
You want to spend yes.
Yes.
All right then. So the entire momentum pool it shall be.
No.
Why not?
No, because I want to have a couple.
He
All
wants
but
some.
two.
Don't forget we gotta
All but
fight.
2. All but 2. I only need 2.
Yes, as
Ooh.
Connie was quite right in pointing out, you do still have the battle going on. That's going to go on down on the surface as well.
We'll
So,
be
yeah.
fine. We'll be fine.
Well, okay.
Who needs move? No.
So final
I'll
word.
go.
How much do you want to spend?
Leave 2 in the momentum pool. Spend the rest.
You want to spend 4, right?
Yeah, let's destroy it.
I mean, do we need that much though? Like, let's try to optimize it.
Alright, so we did
We
8
don't need,
damage, and it's
like,
just
4.
below.
So you're doing 4 damage currently.
Do you
We
want
just
to
need
do?
to add 3, I think, to destroy it.
I was going to say, do you want to use 3 or do you want to use?
So you've
Let's use
basically empty half your pool. You've still got the other half left.
Yeah.
All right. So that gives it 7 damage. 7 that ignores its resistance, and so this. Whoa! Wow! Cannon fodder of the guys on this poor Orion trader have just basically gone, oh, what the hell? Put their foot down on the accelerator and just gone straight for this. Well, this strange ship, and ramming speed, full speed ahead. The good news is that they completely wreck the other ship's shields and cause a breach.
In my expert Orion opinion, the Orions did the right thing.
But the other ship
Yes.
does receive some damage in return. So each
Yes,
ship
you're
takes
right,
the
it's good.
other's collision damage. So, in this example, the colliding one's damage is that much. To do. Due to the physical attack, ignores the Odyssey resistance. The Odyssey is destroyed. The gem suffers 7 damage from the Odyssey's ship plus the scale. So it's a similar job with the cannon fodder then, in that it suffers damage equal to the scale of the enemy ship, which is 3, plus half the distance in zones travelled, which means it takes 4. This has the devastating and piercing quality, but not intense. So I can't ramp up the damage as well as you can. So it is just going to ignore the resistance of that and take 4, which means that, the cannon fodder's shields take a slamming, but otherwise they don't suffer any additional damage besides. So, wow, well done. So that's that round of the ship combat done. We will come back to that, but now we go down to the planet's surface.
So Tre'gok had prepped to shoot this thing.
Yes, so I am fine with you leading the charge on that because you were primed and ready.
And I can make a deadly attack, and it doesn't increase the threat, it reduces the threat added to 0.
Yes, that thing is a holdover from...
Oh, so I can't use that.
No. What I'm saying is that's a good thing for Klingons, because usually when you are playing Starfleet characters, if you are changing the attack from stun to deadly, as in you're making a lethal attack, you can do it, but you tend to give the Games Master threat because you're escalating things. But when Klingons are concerned, as Killer's Instinct, the talent demonstrates, you don't give me threat by making things lethal, because it's totally within what Klingons would do. So, yeah.
Then we'll spend 1 momentum to shoot twice.
Is everybody alright with Mark taking a point from the momentum pool for that?
Yep.
Alrighty!
And then... Again, I am the steel
upon which all things break.
Yeah, and I'm going to take that determination.
Alright then, so you are piling it all on this attack. Nice.
So take that.
Channeling the hatred of the Herc.
Yep. And so that's going to be security and control.
Control, please. Now this thing, this robot, whatever it is, doesn't have any cover really, so it's the standard difficulty of 2.
And I'm going to be using the focus in disruptors.
Yes, makes sense to me. 5 success. Dang! Okay, so obviously now you have got a choice. You got 3 over and above what you needed, and you can... Well, you've got an odd number, and it takes 2 momentum to add 1 extra damage. So you could spend 2 of those to add extra damage and put 1 back into the momentum pool.
I'm going to do that because I'm going to take that momentum straight back in a moment.
Okay. But first, let's have the damage.
Bang.
Okay. 5 damage, but you wanted to take 2 momentum and add it up to 6. Ooh, interesting. So, this thing is composed of... obviously, it has a metallic body, it's a robot. It's composed of a lot of technology that you haven't seen before, and so when your disruptor shot rings out, you see it impact against the armor and doesn't dissipate, but has less punch than you expected. As a result, this character is going to... He basically... I use that word a lot. How many here have played Portal 2?
Yes.
Yep.
So when you face up against... is it Wheatley?
Yep.
Near the end, when he's on the big arm, essentially, that GLaDOS used to be on, he usually puts like these big flat panels in the way of any shots you try and throw his way in order to protect himself. Similarly, this creature, well, this contraption, I should say, pulls a bunch of instrumentation and other such things in its path in order to deflect that shot, and as a result, manages to keep itself intact for the time being. But there is a big old dent in the instruments that it used to shield itself. Now, you are going to be spending an extra point of momentum in order to attack again.
So I've already spent that one. So I spent one earlier for the second attack. I'm going to use it in my next attack. Seeing as that didn't damage it, I want to charge up and start hacking at it with a batleth.
Ooh, okay, so in order to equip a weapon, you're going to need to use a minor action. So what you're going to need to do is, if you're going to move and attack, you're going to need to you spend a minor action to move up to it. You're going to spend another minor action by spending momentum to switch weapons.
Nope. Alright, then I'll just fire again and see if I can get rid of its protection. Just do the same thing again. But I won't spend that momentum to add more damage. I'll
Okay.
just roll as I did now.
Okay.
Cool. And using a focus.
Alright, this one is 3 successes, so you did manage to land a shot with 1 extra point over and above what you needed. So that 1 point can go into the momentum pool. It's not enough to be able to add any additional damage. So we go back to the disruptor rifle, which has a damage of 5. Pardon me, a disruptor rifle has intense. I didn't notice that before, which means it only costs 1 momentum to put the damage up. Well, the daisy, that's my fault, so I will own that as of now.
Has Tre'gok managed to get rid of its shielding?
Yes, you've completely destroyed the paneling it was using, but it is going to use my threat pool to avoid injury. Now, unless you guys want to spend 2 momentum to keep the initiative, it's going to be this thing's turn next. So,
Trasa, do you want to jump on it?
Oh, 100%.
so do you want to spend 2 momentum then to keep the initiative?
I think so.
Alright, Liz, if you could take 2 momentum points out of the pool for me then, please, and then proceed.
Am I within 1 band or 2?
You can move there easily within 1 movement. Woo! Everybody move!
Yep, she's coming at where the bat live.
Its defenses are down! Get it!
Alright, cool. So if we activate Trasa. So yes, this thing is aware of you, therefore it is going to be fighting back. Ooh. Okay. The difficulty of attacking this thing is going to be all of 1. And you get 1. So with all of these various scientific implements, I mean, it says this thing seems to give you the impression that they're scientific implements, but they're basically weapons or torture equipment as far as you're concerned. So Trasa goes hurtling in and starts swinging with a batleth, but this thing has got so many clawed, pincered, spiked limbs that you find it hard to get any purchase on any of its actual internals. So that fight results in a stalemate.
Damn, I was seeing if I had anything. Oh, I didn't buy 1 more. If I would have bought a dice and added threat to you, I could have re-rolled. Damn.
If you want to give me extra threat in order to roll an extra dice, you could do if you wanted to.
Yep. Because you don't use the threats, really.
Don't I?
Why would you say that out loud?
That was a 2, which was 2 successes, actually. So that means that you got 3 successes overall, 2 over and above what you needed. So a batleth. I am looking at the wrong character.
Yep.
Has what? Warrior's Spirits. Whenever you make a melee attack by 1 or more threat, you may re-roll the dice pool for your task roll. Yep. Further down, you have to make... Yeah, okay, cool. So we are using the batleth. It doesn't have intense or anything like that, so it does its standard 3 damage. So the 2 extra that you got, you can either spend them both on upping the damage to 4, or you can put them both back in the momentum pool to give you a bigger momentum. What would you like to do?
You know, they could
2
take
momentum
it
back in the pool. Okay, so 3 damage is still 3 damage, so Trasa does go swinging for the fences and manages to take off a limb or 2, but this thing has got so many of them, and the what counts as its torso. I don't use threat. Well, you're about to find out, sadly. Because in 2nd edition, I can do more with my threat pool than I could in 1st. So yeah. but in this case, your weapon failed to penetrate the thing's armored chassis. So even though you disable some of its spindly arms, you don't manage to get at the actual thing itself. And this is where the mechanical creature gets to take its actions. Now, let me have a look here. Okay, cool. So this thing, as I've already mentioned, has a profusion of limbs, and it's going to start off by fighting back against Trasa with a couple of them. So, Liz, if you could roll me Trasa's daring and security to represent how difficult it will be to attack Trasa. With the usual focus for hand-to-hand combat. So, yep, the usual daring and security, if you please. Nice, nice. So you've rolled 2 successes, so that's the number I need to get on or over. Double 9s! You're going up! You got a 7, then a 6, then, you know, double 7, double 6, double 8, double 9. Interesting. Right, so that's the number I need to beat. Right, so this thing is going to use its focus of vermin biology of the beta quadrant to try and aim for Trasa's, well, vital organs. And is going to actually use its point of determination to use its value of study the vermin to see exactly if the Klingon vermin have grown any extra bits since the Herc were in charge of the planet. So, daring and security with 1 less dice because I am using determination and using a focus. Do I add any more threat? I will use a threat to use another dice. And I rolled pretty poorly there, actually, but I got the 2 successes I needed to land a blow. So that's fine. It's going to use its leg spike.
Oh, I thought if it met the defense, it was a draw.
No, that was the number I'm looking for. Actually, that's a good point. It's a draw. You're quite right. You're quite right. You're quite right. Thank you. Sorry, folks. I haven't had anything to eat yet. I'm a bit... My brain's going. My brain's going.
Bit peckish.
All this talk about cutting out squidgy bits is making me very hungry for some reason. I feel like I want a steak. Anyway, moving quickly. Klingon steak. So Trasa, yeah, manages to beat these spikes and whatever extra limbs that are going for her vital organs pretty well. So manages to fight this guy off. But at the same time that this battle is going on. Who do I aim for? I'm going to go for something a little different. An arm extends out from the side as some of the other sensor nodes, let's say, switch in the direction of the people on the who are trying to surround the stricken captain on the examination table. And so Dr. O'Keefe is going to get shot at. Now, don't have any focus for shoot the vermin, so I am just going to go with buying an extra dice. 1 success. I actually needed 2, so that was a big old miss.
Even with the threat, you still can't hit us. I love it.
But that's the creature for now, so who of you wants to go next? Shalatha O'Keefe, the captain, or... well, actually, the other one that's available is currently bound to the table, so can't do much. So, does Captain Qe'Bach want to go? Does Dr. O'Keefe want to go? Or does Chief of Engineering Shalatha want to go?
I think I want the captain to go.
Want the captain to go? Okay.
Yes. So the captain, he wants to rip off one of the limbs of this machine.
Okay. Last I remember being told you were armed with a duck targ, so are you still armed with a duck targ?
If it'll help. Oh, actually no. The captain is going to go beast mode. It's going to.
It's the big stick. All right.
Bare hands this time.
Bare hands. Oh wow. Okay.
And I would like to use a determination of the value glory to our house to do this, and then try and reclaim the determination.
Yes. Okay, so you're rolling a d20 and you're looking to get underneath your control rating. So let's see. Roll a 20-sided dice and let's see if you get 10 or under.
I forgot to do that for.
Well, we'll
my
get back to you in a minute then. You did not. You lost it. So there we are. But Mark, if you want to try.
Cool. So a d20.
Yep, 20-sided dice, but you're looking to get 10 or under. Actually, no. Wait a minute. It's
11.
Tre'gok. Tre'gok's control is 11, so it's actually 11 or under.
Come on.
Nope. Just like the last one. One over. Never mind. You still get to have a hand-to-hand attack against a metal opponent using your bare fists, using a point of determination. So remember to roll one less dice because the determination dice is replacing one of your 2 d20s.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, you want to buy extra dice. So this is daring and security, yes, absolutely, which is a good point. What is this guy?
Got the momentum,
if the crew is okay, I'd like to buy dice.
Well, I got 0 successes for the creature trying to keep him back, so...
I'll spend 1 momentum to buy dice, and then hopefully that will bring us over as well.
Alright, so 1 momentum removed from the pool. You rolled 2 dice, but you didn't roll the... You were using determination, so you did roll a 1. So that means you actually got 2 successes. I got 0 successes, so that means you did actually manage to do a hit. So, once again, with those 2 extra successes, do you want to put them in the momentum pool, or do you want to spend them on extra damage?
I think 1 in the pool, 1 for extra damage.
The point is, unarmed strike doesn't have the intense quality, so it's one or either. One or the other. Either put them both in the momentum, or put them both into doing extra damage.
I think extra damage then, if we're okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
No
Okay.
objections.
Right, so that means your damage is now up to 3, and sadly for you, this thing has really dense armor, so that when Captain Qe'Bach actually lands a punch, his fist stops dead, and there's this resounding clang as flesh meets metal. Now, he's a Klingon captain, so he won't admit exactly how much that hurt, feeling his knuckles collide with steel. But there was very much a, neither side moved when that impact happened, so... Sadly. Alright, that still leaves Lieutenant Shalatha of Engineering, Dr. Aketha, to deal with this, whatever's going on here. So, Dave or Chris, who wants to go next in trying to take care of this mechanical beast?
I was just thinking, if it is a mechanical thing, I'm an engineer. Is there anything sort of I can explore that way? Just
sure.
Just, firing my phaser at it.
There are plenty of consoles and stuff around here. Maybe if you tried something like control and engineering.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I mean, what have you got in focuses? Maintenance, power systems, warp field, jury rigging. Essentially, you could use your control and engineering skill to try and give your team an advantage, or to try and create a disadvantage for the mechanical creature, essentially creating a trait.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Can I use jury rigging in that case as well?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right.
So if you're talking about the Tanner... Oh, hello.
Oh, heck.
Right, okay. What I'll say here then is that since you got a 20, whatever you want to happen will happen for this round, but something else might happen too.
Cool. I guess I'd like to put the creature at some kind of disadvantage.
Okay. So let's go with one success. Let me think. Any attempt, any task that the mechanical creature tries to make on the next turn will be that much harder for it, so it'll up the difficulty of everything it tries to do by 1. And this will be Lieutenant Shalatha basically getting to one of these consoles and trying to interfere with its ability to compute, or use its sensors, so that'll do nicely, actually. Which leaves the Doctor. What would the Doctor like to do? I mean, if the Doctor's not interested in fighting, the Doctor could try and get the captive, Commander Tukgalt, off of the operating table.
Yes, that's what I am going to try and do.
So I would like you to give me a daring and engineering check to just basically find what you can and rip it apart, or pull wires out, or even physically force it if you really want to.
Okay. No focuses.
Well, forgive me for being pedantic, but very few people have got foci for ripping stuff out of a robot, but out of an operating table. But I suppose medical procedures. This counts as a medical procedure, so it's like a biobed, really, I suppose. So this wouldn't be that different to Dr. Raketha from trying to unlock somebody from a restraint field in a biobed. So, yeah. I seem to have talked myself into something there.
Okay, alright.
So you get to use a focus, yeah. Well, Dave, you've broken your curse. So Commander Tukgalt, Dr. Raketha manages to override, use the little console on the medical slab base to release the restraints, which means Commander Tukgalt is now free to operate. I am going to make Commander Tukgalt now operate as assistance for anyone that wants some kind of basically combat assistant, so that you can use Commander Tukgalt to. Thank you, Liz. So anybody who wants to make some kind of combat act against the machine can do so with some assistance from Commander Tukgalt. You can use her as a supporting character, essentially. But that's all that can be done for this round. We're going to quickly jump back to space. So one of your guys can go next. So it comes down to whether or not you guys think that this ship that seems to be getting controlled by the Herc robot down on the planet's surface, or is linked somehow to them, do you think it's damaged enough now that you think you just want to open fire, or do you still want to set up an attack run?
It's got no shields. Attack!
You can even probably now. I'm going to say you can definitely use the biggest gun you've got, the disruptor cannon. But that means we're going to be using our tactical officer here, who usually is our ops officer. So who haven't we had? Liz. Can I get you to be Lieutenant Lethulol Dos, please? And he is giving us a control and security check to fire the weapons. And I would like... Dave, do you fancy being the Do Qe'Bach?
Yeah, I'll be the Do Qe'Bach.
Cool. I need weapons and security 1 dice off of the Do Qe'Bach, and control and security 2 dice from Lieutenant Thulol Dos.
No focuses or anything like that.
Not for the ship, no. Not for Lieutenant Dos.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Nevertheless, you've got 1 success. You only need 1 more to actually hit the ship. And you got it!
There's almost 2.
So, from the main disruptor cannon on the very, very front of the ship, what have we got? So, the disruptor cannon does 9 damage, counts as intense, so if you wanted to up the damage, you can do so by spending a momentum point. So for every momentum point spent, it ups the damage by 1. It has a ridiculous 9, so I don't know if you need to use quite that much, but it's up to you if you want to pump up the volume a bit more.
I'd say keep the momentum for now. We're having trouble on the surface.
Everybody else? Everybody else good with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
So sad.
Lieutenant Dos mans the weapons and fires the main disruptor cannon, which means that we take off the resistance, which leaves us with a certain amount, which means that the... Oh yeah, the ship is dead, it is destroyed, and it explodes with the fire of reactor meltdown, which is unfortunate for the cannon fodder, because the cannon fodder is right next to it when it goes up. Ho-hum! Because that means we are now at a warp core breach. What happens when there is a warp core breach?
It's got shields. It's still good.
Let's see how much of a... No, so that's long-term repairs, that's starship combat, damage control. So this is what happens when there's a warp core breach imminent. I'm reading the rules right now, by the way, folks, if you're wondering what I'm talking about. If they can stabilize the reactor, though they can eject the reactor. If ejected, you roll to see... continue to roll to see if it explodes. Which suggests there's already something for when it does explode. How far do we go with a warp core explosion? Escape pods, first crew, abandoned ship. Alright then, I basically come up with it myself. Well, the strength of these things is usually an immense, in a rating of 1 to 5, so let's go 5. It's going to be devastating and intense. And piercing, so let's get rid of that. So, oh yeah. 2, 3, 4. Alright, so the IKS cannon fodder was already shaken, therefore takes a breach from being in close proximity to another ship detonating. But nevertheless, the cannon fodder is mostly intact. They might need some repairs, though. Their shields are low, and they've got a hull breach.
It's a little singed. It's fine.
Which means that there's nothing more that Lieutenant Shatran needs to do, neither does the cannon fodder, so we'll call an end to that particular combat encounter while going back to the planet's surface. Pardon me, wrong map. So we go right back here. So whom of you wants to start things off against the crazy contraption?
Is it back around again?
It's back around again, so whoever of you wants to start.
I'm going to shoot it again.
Everybody alright with Tre'gok starting this? I'm going to go with yes.
Yep.
Right, its arms are busy.
Its arms are busy, but it looks like it can shoot as well as fight.
Alright. I'm still going to try shooting it twice.
Yep.
There's not a lot I can do now that I've spent my determination. So just going to use my focus, rolling 2 dice.
Now, if you want, you can get Commander Tre'gok to assist. Which
Yes,
means
going to get Tre'gok to assist.
Okay,
Yes,
which means she will roll as well to see what she can do to aid you in your attack. I got a 14, which is nothing, I'm afraid, so it's down to you. You got a 9 and a 16, which is exactly what you needed to hit.
Cool.
Ba-boom!
And same again. Not spending any extra, just using it as is.
Okay, in which case I am going to have to spend for my threat to avoid injury.
Cool. I didn't take that momentum off to shoot again, so...
Okay. Now, unfortunately, Tre'gok can't aid you a second time. You've used her, so...
just doing it again.
10 and 6 means 2 successes, so another spot-on shot. So once again, 5 damage from the Disruptor Rifle, which means once again I have to pull 2 threat to avoid injury.
Okay, his threat's going down. Try not to add to it, we can get through it.
Right, if you guys want to spend your 2 remaining momentum, you can keep the initiative, or the Breacher goes next. Do you spend your last 2 initiative?
I
your
don't
last
mind.
2 thing. Momentum.
Unless Trasa, do you want to try again?
No, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You could have hit her the last time. That's going to this time.
Oh, God.
You alright? Alright then, let's go. So this thing goes next. It is going to attack both Qe'Bach and Trasa one after the other. So first against Qe'Bach. So Connie, if I could get you to roll daring and security for me, please.
Alright, no focuses?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Hand-to-hand
lovely.
combat works as per usual, so I got only 1. What did you get? 2, so it doesn't manage to It doesn't manage to bypass Qe'Bach's guard at all, so... Liz, same thing, daring and security, just to see how good Trasa's defenses are. I will perform that check again. Whoops, I didn't do... So that's actually... What is that? That's actually 2 successes. Yeah, still 2 successes. You got 1, which means this time it did actually manage to get through Trasa's defenses, which means it is going to use its leg spike. So Trasa can either take a 3-point injury, or you can spend your stress to avoid injury. You've got
We're gonna go.
plenty
We
of
got
stress.
plenty of stress.
Yeah, so spend 3 stress to avoid that injury. Okay, so it's a just barely managed to get out of the way before it manages to get one of its clawed legs out and, or rather its spiky legs out and jams them through you. So that is all that can do. Who's next?
You might go.
The captain.
Might wanna go.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you do have the ability to use your minor action to equip a weapon instead.
Okay, I'll do.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm just giving you options as to what you can do.
No, I think it's time to blast it.
All right.
I tried it
close
the fun
range
way, but
blaster.
no.
Gotcha. All right then.
Exactly.
So this thing has got no cover to speak of, so it's going to be a flat difficulty 2 against your control and security. Any disruptor-based foci can apply here.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm afraid you don't have any.
I was going to say space combat. I mean, we're in.
You're not in space. You're on a planetoid. Nice try, but I'm afraid not. But you got 2 successes.
Everything's in space.
Yes, if you want to get technical about it, then absolutely everything's in space. But you hit. You did manage to hit. So let's see. Can we see the damage for your disruptor pistol, please? Okay, it has the intent. It does 4 damage, which is nothing to sneeze by. It has intense, which means if you wanted to spend momentum to up the damage, it's 1 momentum per 1 point of extra damage. Do you use 1 or both of the remaining momentum to add 1 or 2 damage to your blaster, your disruptor pistol, pardon me?
If you, by the end of this round, if there's 1 point in, I can still shoot it twice, and I've been burning out his threat. So as long as there's 1 momentum left at the end of the round.
It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, okay. I think maybe use 1 because it doesn't seem like we're getting that many hits in.
Okay.
And then 1 we'll leave. Yeah, take 1, leave 1.
All right. So if you can take 1 momentum out of the momentum pool for me, please, because it then says who takes it. Beep. We've now upped the damage to 5, which means that the thing has armor, which negates some of your damage, which means the remaining 2 means that I'm going to use the last 2 points of my threat pool to avoid injury, which means I can't use any more. Who's next? Trasa? That is a world-class cackle right there, I have to say. It's go time kind of cackle.
Oh yeah. She's still going to hit it with her batlift because she is mad.
All right then. So yes.
And I am.
Go for it.
And I'm going to use my 1 focus of this.
All right. Today's a good. No, it's not. Today's a good day. Today it's Kilesh Bepu. I got 3 successes, so it's covering up a lot better. So now is probably a good time.
You mind if I take that last determination to hit it?
Absolutely, you can use determination to hit it. So remember, if you're using determination, 1 but if you meant the last momentum point as well, then
yeah, I really want to hit this.
Absolutely, you can. If everyone's okay.
Might as well.
I hear no objections. Okay. So you get to roll 2 dice with determination. Yep, so there we are. 4 successes. You get over its 3. Does the Batleth have intents? I forget.
No, it don't.
No, it doesn't. But at the very least, that 1 extra goes back into the momentum pool then, and it still does 3 damage, which I'm afraid to say is exactly the amount of armor it has, which means the Batleth does not penetrate enough to do damage.
Damn, not even deadly.
Deadly just means...
1 do?
Opportunity 1 means that's the cost you need to pay if you bring it along to a mission that doesn't require it. So certain pieces of equipment, if the mission directives don't suggest you need this piece of equipment and you want to bring it anyway, you need to pay momentum to bring it along. And in that case, opportunity cost of 1 means a Batleth, if you were bringing it on a non-combat mission, would cost you 1 momentum to do so.
No, surely all Klingon missions require.
Well, I try my best to give the Klingon crew Klingon missions that give you an excuse. But that means that this is now down to Shalafa and Oketha somehow to defeat this monster. You can work together. You can take a turn at the same time if you want one to assist the other in some fashion.
We've got to do some big rags. We've barely even touched this thing.
But I'm happy with what you did last time. If you want to do something a little different, and maybe... Let's see, because Oketha's pretty good with
Oh yeah, creating because it's at disadvantage at the moment. Do you want to create
Yes.
an advantage for us hacking it?
There's
'Cause
that
way
too.
we're more likely to
Yeah.
hit it.
Yeah, let's try that.
Alright then, shall we have both Akatha and Shalatha working together to do a control and engineering check to essentially mess with this thing's internal systems?
Cool. Who's leading?
You can lead.
Thanks.
Beaming out, have a fun stream, thanks. Okay, thanks, suitable
You're,
substrate.
you're the engineer, so...
Am I jury rigging again?
Yeah, by all means, use that focus.
Oh, I like this focus.
You know what? I'm gonna up this. I'm gonna use a point of determination.
Ooh, aye.
Oh wait, I forgot. Hang on, I gotta roll the d20.
Yes,
to
you
see
do,
if it
actually. That's a good point. You got a 19. That's as far away from what you need to get it as a 20, so... Sadly, you lost it. But there we go. Arf!
I've used a point of determination.
Which means that you still roll one die, but you tag the button for using determination as well, so...
What value am I going to use?
Things must be challenged to prove their worth.
Oh no, I used that one.
You can use it again. You know, they're not. You don't have to use the same value once, and that's it. You can use your values more than once.
I feel like getting to the truth is a battle, one I intend to win.
Well, no, that'll work as well.
So I will put that in. Well, there you go.
All right then.
Perform task. I am not using any focus on this.
Not really, no.
I'm using determination now. One dice.
One dice. Don't really pay attention to the dice because it's actually the determination we want, but there we are. That is, wow, 4 successes. All right then. The two of you essentially monkey with the thing's programming to the extent where it starts to thrash all over the place and starts spewing out nonsensical verbalizations. You're not sure if you've created some kind of catastrophic error or what, but this gives you guys the chance to... it's essentially now unable to take a turn.
Tavish would be proud.
It would be. You've created so much junk conflicting code in its code base that it's having trouble being able to properly function, which means somebody can try and finish it off. Who is that someone going to be?
Shall I use that last momentum for 2 shots? It can't protect itself now.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
Alright, using a focus, 2 dice, come on.
That's 1 success. Let's have assistance
From Cult? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, give me another one.
Oh. First shot missed.
Try again.
It's thrashing around so much that you're finding it very difficult to pinpoint it.
Come on, do it.
That's much better with 1 extra. So bring up your disruptor rifle. It has intense. You can use that 1 extra to put some extra stink on the damage. It's bringing up to 6, which means that you finally blast the stem of this thing where it meets the where the armature of this thing meets the roof, the ceiling, I should say, of this bay, and you just blast right through it. The thing detonates, it collapses to the floor, it just starts... all its limbs start twitching almost like a spider before it curls in on itself and just powers down. There we have it. So, Commander Tre'gok thanks you most profusely for the assistance of taking her away from that thing and destroying it. Let me actually get you the round out of what this is here. So, you have not only discovered a relic of the Herc Empire, but elsewhere in this very chamber that you found yourselves in at the very end, you do look around a bit and discover some kind of stasis pod of sort. There's, in the middle of all the equipment, there's a point where all the wires and data points all seem to gather together, and you find evidence of biological matter that suggests some kind of insectoid creature. But the actual organic aspects of it are few and far between. It looks like that whatever this creature was, it had started replacing parts of itself with machinery to the point where so much of its body became machine that it seems to have just then loaded its consciousness into the machinery of the room itself. So whatever this creature used to be, potentially an actual member of the Herc species, not enough of its biology remains intact for you to get any kind of idea as to what this thing might have looked like when it was whole and intact. This is now some kind of amalgamation of various bits of technology with only scant pieces of organics remaining. So what precisely this creature was is not that obvious, but from its manner of speaking and the way that it used an ancient Herc dialect to address you, suggests that this insectoid creature might very well have been one of the Herc, but by the way that it talked to you and acted and how erratic its mood and its movements were, you're pretty sure the thing lost what was left of its mind some time ago. But nevertheless, it appears that this machine consciousness, whatever was left of that, let's call it a Herc, was indeed responsible for the disappearance of ships in the area, and it was using some kind of remote access to that ship that turned up in orbit in order to, it seems, ambush ships and maybe even bring them back here for study. But you have put a stop to all that. So not only have you managed to succeed at your mission objectives to find the party responsible for the disappearance of the ships in this area, you also have, in no uncertain terms, avenged the deaths of the Klingons from the other ship, Captain Tre'gok's crew. But you've also, in a manner of speaking, fought and bested a Herc, or a remnant of a Herc, or a revenant of a Herc, and even then, if you discount all of that, you have found living specimens of plants and animals that have only existed on Qo'Noss in the time during the Herc occupation. So, one way or another, whichever way you chalk it up, you have done extraordinarily well. So when it comes time to dole out the glory for this particular mission, well, even your greatest detractors are going to find it hard to actually poo-poo any of the glory and acclaim you get.
I wonder if we could still get the technology and try to attack our rival houses. They could make them look like it's a Herc attack.
Well, if you really want to go down that avenue, it's something we can certainly discuss outside of...
Ooh, is there like fruit so we can make wine from the time of Kalis?
If you want to go that way.
Yeah.
then yes, you have all sorts of possibilities ahead for you.
Wine
But-
at a time, Kalis.
Yeah, yeah. But in the meantime, I think as far as the stream and those who are watching it go, that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. So, as per our usual schedule, we will have a break of a week before we come back, and I'm sad to say that the Klingon crew will have to take a side seat for a little bit because we'll be going back to the combs next time we're here. So, just as a quick check, the 15th of December, is that all right for everybody?
15th's okay for me.
2 weeks' time on a Sunday? Excellent. In that case, I will say to those who have been watching the Twitch stream, or are maybe watching this later on YouTube, thank you very much for viewing. We hope you enjoyed this little Klingon sojourn. There will be more sojourns out with the Klingon crew, and who knows what the future may bring when the Klingon Federation War is actually done with. But until that time, we ask you to do like any self-respecting Klingon does. Bring glory and honor to your house, and if you ever come across the Herc, well, you beat them into submission and then keep beating them some more. But also remember to declare it openly that you have actually beaten the Herc because you want everybody to hear about it. Nevertheless, farewell, my fellow warriors. We will speak to you when we speak to you next. If you're seeing this on YouTube outside of the stream and you fancy being charitable, then give us a like so that we can at least help the others who are on doing Let's Plays and actual plays some actual appeasement to the algorithm. So, thank you very much for that. In the meantime, well, I usually do the Vulcan salute, but that's not the case in this time. So, glory and honor to your houses. We will speak to you when we speak to you again. With me, my brothers and sisters, Kapla.
Blah. Blah.
Kapla!
And we will speak next time. Hailing frequencies are now closed.